Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's Hindi newspaper. Before getting started, let us see the topics of the day. So first topic is about tribal communities, guys. Title says, tribal communities are not just beneficiaries of government schemes, but drivers of India's progress, said by our Union Tribal Affairs Minister. So this article is very important from your society point of view and social issues point of view, guys. Our next topic is ISRO conducts crucial safety test on main parachutes for Gaganyaan crew. So this article is talking about Gaganyaan mission. So actually this mission is nothing but Space Man mission, and this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under Science and Technology. And next topic is Supreme Court judge says imported ideas may not save endangered species. As you all know that in our country there are many species they were listed under endangered category by the CITES. And if you want to save that endangered species, we should not import the ideas from others. So that is the thing which mainly said by Supreme Court judge. And this topic is important from environment and ecology from GS paper 3. And next topic is Delhi air quality hits season's worst, triggers construction ban, hybrid mode back in schools. So this article is talking about Delhi air pollution, and here you have to see about this graded response action plan. And this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. And next topic is act of evil. As you all know that in yesterday's class we discussed about bomb blast before Red Fort. So this article it is about that. Here we have to focus on counter-terrorism in our country, and this topic is important from international relations, and as well as we have to see from GS paper 3 under internal security as well. And next topic is why do astronauts wear pressurized suits? So here you have to know about the important concepts of geography, and as well as you have to know about what are these pressurized suits and how they will be helpful for these astronauts. And this topic is important from GS paper 1 under geography and even from this GS paper 3 under science and technology. So these all are the topics that we are going to discuss in this class. Okay, say this title, guys. Look at this title carefully, read it out. Tribal communities are not just beneficiaries of government schemes, but drivers of India's progress. He is Union Tribal Affairs Minister and he gave this statement. Okay, so what is a keyword? So this article is talking about what? Scheduled tribes. Okay, so now what is this article talking about? Our Union Tribal Minister, said that these scheduled tribes, they are not just beneficiaries of government schemes, but even these tribals are drivers of our economy. Okay, so here you have to see about this scheduled tribes first. In your society and social issues or social justice topics in your GS1 and GS2, you have this topic directly, problems of scheduled caste, problems of scheduled tribes, and even there we discussed about constitutional provisions, there we discussed about exactly what the schemes government came up with for these vulnerable sections of society, everything. Just open your society notes and just refer about this scheduled tribes case. I gave the detailed notes regarding this there. Okay, now we have to see about these two important areas. Directly our minister said that they are not just beneficiaries of government schemes. Can anyone tell me what are the schemes launched by government of India which are focusing on the scheduled tribes? Any idea of the schemes? I gave the detailed list. One important scheme is PM Janman scheme. It is for particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And apart from that, government came up with the schools called as Kendriya Vidyalayas for this scheduled tribes children. And government is also providing vocational training for this people. And even government is providing scholarships for this people. And even government is providing overseas scholarship for the people from the scheduled tribes who wants to study in other countries. Yes or no? and government came up with lots of schemes for this only the scheduled tribes in our country. Regarding PVTJs, last year government came up with this new scheme called as PM Janman. So here our tribal minister is saying that they are not just beneficiaries of this government schemes, and even they are drivers of economy. Now you guys think and tell me why the statement made by our tribal minister and how these tribals are driving our economy. Come on, think and tell me. Online guys, please let me know in the comment box. So how these tribal people are drivers of our economy. Okay, I'll give you a hint. So these tribal peoples live in which areas? Yes, in forest areas. What will be their occupation normally? Hunting and gathering. And next one is they will depend on minor forest produce, and they'll go for agriculture to some extent. For example, shifting cultivation or sweatening or slash and burn type of agriculture they'll do. Now tell me, based on these economic activities, how can they contribute our economy? Can they sell forest produce in the market? And these tribals, they had rich knowledge of medicines, especially Ayurveda. Yes. So can they contribute for this Ayurveda system in our country? And even we have TriFed, and even we have government and as well as private platforms where this tribal people, they can sell their produce directly to the people. Yes. So because of all these things, they are saying that is tribals are also the drivers of our economy. They are not just merely the beneficiaries of this government schemes. And even they said that they are coming forward and they are also helping for getting investments in our country. So because of this is a statement which is made by our tribal minister. Okay, now let us see exactly what this article is talking about. Tribal communities are not just beneficiaries of these government schemes, but they are also drivers of India's progress. So this is a statement given by our Union Tribal Ministers on the eve of Tribal Business Conclave. So he attended this Tribal Business Conclave in 2025, and in that conclave he made this statement. And this conclave hosted by ministry to facilitate business linkages, and even we want to attract investments in this tribal entrepreneurs across India as well. Okay, and why they're conducting this conclave is they want to celebrate 150th anniversary of Birsa Munda. So here for sure 100% and even 101% you may get question for sure in your prelims regarding this Birsa Munda, guys. You have to know in detail about this person. So you may get question in this way. Consider the following statements regarding this Birsa Munda. They'll give you 2 to 4 statements and they will ask you which of the following statements are correct or incorrect, or how many statements are correct or incorrect. And next one here is he has certain titles. So they may give question on the titles. This title is whose, and they'll give you directly ABCD options. That question will look very simple, but if you are getting confused, then that will be a big problem to you in your examination hall, guys. Okay. And here, what are the reasons why Tribal Affairs Minister said this is tribal entrepreneurs are increasingly leading ventures, especially in handicrafts. You know, these tribals, they have their own art, craft and handicrafts. So they are coming up with ventures for their handicrafts, and here even they are focusing on agroforestry, and they are selling their herbal products on online, and even they are promoting ecotourism. As you all know that whenever we are taking any conservation process or conservation programs, who will be involving in that conservation programs? Obviously this tribal people has to involve in them, right? So if there is no tribal people, we cannot focus on the proper conservation of that so and so environment. So here they play a very important role in protection of our nature also. So if we are not protecting our nature, can we survive on this mother earth? No, for sure. So because of this, they play a very important role. And even there are certain organizations like TriFed, which is supporting over 1.5 lakh tribal artisans as well. And if you see the revenue of these tribal artisans, it is generally exceeding rupees 500 crores through market linkages now. That means they're also contributing a lot for our GDP as well. Okay. And even they focus on environmental conservation, especially in this tribal dominated areas. Culture preservation is happening, and even labor intensive industries, if you're coming up in that areas, who will be the laborers? These tribal people are working in that so and so companies, guys. And even they have good knowledge of organic farming, traditional farming, medicinal plants, etc. So that will also leads to our green economy as well. So in this way, tribals will also contribute to our economic growth. They are also the drivers of our economy. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this Munda, Birsa Munda. Birsa Munda was a freedom fighter, tribal freedom fighter, and also a religious reformer. And he stood strong against the Britishers' land alienation policies. He was born on 15th November 1875. The place where he was born is presently seen in this Jharkhand region, and he belongs to Munda tribe. It is one of the major Adivasi community in this Chota Nagpur Plateau region. And if you see about this education and early influence of this person, he attended local schools under guidance of certain people, and later on his father converted into Christianity, and after that he got education from this Christian missionary schools, and later on he influenced by Vaishnavism, and he became to known as Bhagwan. Bhagwan means nothing but God by his followers, and later on he also called with another name called as Dharti Abba. Please make a note here. You may get question on this. Dharti Abba is the title of whom? Or else you may get a question. Birsa Munda is lovingly called as what? Dharti Abba. Dharti Abba is nothing but father of the earth by his followers. And he promoted monotheism. What is meaning of mono? Mono means one. Theism is nothing but following of religion. So he followed a single religion, and he worshipped Singh Bonga. It is a tribal deity. And I said that he is a social reformer. Actually, he fought against alcoholism, and even he was against black magic and superstition, and even forced labor, guys. Later on, he encouraged clean living, hygiene, spiritual unity, etc. Okay, and whenever these Britishers entered into this forest areas, whenever they started occupying these areas, whenever they started exploiting these tribals, he stood strongly against Kunkati land system, and he was against jamindars and as well as tikadars, who are the middlemen who started exploiting these tribals. And he also educated many people regarding this injustice which is mainly caused by this British policies, and he became a leader and he fought a lot against these Britishers, and he was arrested twice by the Britishers at that time, and finally he died because of one disease called as cholera in 1900. In 1900 year he died because of cholera disease, guys. Okay, so that is the thing. And say this article, guys, ISRO conducts crucial safety test on main parachutes for Gaganyaan crew. So what is this article talking about? First important keyword is Gaganyaan mission, and now they did test for what can you see here? Parachutes. Okay, why now ISRO did a test on this parachutes? So what is the use of parachutes, guys? Why we'll be using these parachutes for what? Okay, so if you see this mission, Gaganyaan, what is this mission is about? We have to take humans into space. To be specific, we are going to take these humans into low Earth orbit. Okay, and we have to bring them back to Earth, right? So whenever we are bringing them back, we will use these parachutes for landing, guys. That means parachutes are very, very important for the safe landing of these astronauts. Yes or no? So without testing these parachutes, can we go for directly using that? No. So we have to go for testing of those parachutes, and we have to see that yes, they are efficient, they are working. Then only we can use them in our main mission. Yes or no? Okay. So now what we have to test in these parachutes? So what we have to test in these parachutes? Okay, whenever we are coming down from the space, the temperature, what happens, it will be very, very high temperature. It will be around 3000 degrees centigrade. So in that high and heavy temperature, so this parachutes has to withstand, and they have to be very, very tough. So we are going to test about this temperature of this, in this temperature, whether they are withstanding or not, and we will be also seeing about the toughness of this parachutes. And this thing we did in this test, guys. So here what you have to see, about this Gaganyaan mission is about, and you have to say about what is this test is about. That's it. Okay, nothing more than this. This topic is very important from science and technology, from your space. So every year, at least one or two questions you will get from the space technology, that too from current affairs, guys. If there is any mission which is there in news, you have to know about that in detail for sure. Okay, now let us see the context. ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, announced a successful completion of a critical integrated main parachute airdrop test. So please make a note, IM-AT. IM-AT is nothing but integrated main parachute airdrop test for Gaganyaan crew module. So in this test, they are going to see whether these parachutes are qualifying for our human space flight program or not. Especially, they can ensure the safe re-entry of these astronauts on this Earth or not. We are going to test that. That means they have to withstand very high temperature, and even they have to have the good resistance power as well. Okay, so whenever we are going for re-entry, it will generate around approximately 3000 degrees centigrade of heat, and it will create force of 5 to 7 forces, and these parachutes, they must handle this peak dynamic pressure. So we are going to test whether they are going to withstand this high temperature and this high pressure or not. So that is this test, and this test said that yes, these parachutes are withstanding that temperature and as well as pressure. So it is a successful test, and now we can use these parachutes in our directly Gaganyaan mission. So that is a thing which mainly is said by this ISRO. If you say certain facts regarding this Gaganyaan mission, it is India's first human space flight program. So till today, we didn't went for this human space flight. This Gaganyaan program is India's first program. And what we are doing, we are going to launch crew of 3 astronauts to low Earth orbit. So what is low Earth orbit? So if you say this is as, if you consider this is as Earth, around the Earth, if you are drawing orbits, so here we have 3 types of orbits around the Earth. We have low Earth orbit, we have medium Earth orbit, and we have high Earth orbit. Normally, you know that we are going to launch, like we launch many satellites, and we are going to launch many satellites in future. So here, if you want to launch any satellite which is focusing on observation of Earth, we need to have clear pics of Earth, clear changes that we have to observe on the Earth. So that satellites will be launched or put in this low Earth orbit. If you want to have like wide range of coverage, then we'll keep that satellites in this high Earth orbit. So this low Earth orbit is just 400 kilometers above the Earth, and this high Earth orbit are more than 36,000 kilometers from the surface of our Earth. Now in this Gaganyaan mission, we are going to take this 3 human astronauts, and we are going to place them in this low Earth orbit, and the aim here is we have to bring them back safe onto our Earth. So whenever we are bringing them back safe onto the Earth, we are going to use this parachutes, guys. So for this parachutes, the present test had been done by ISRO, and that parachutes passed the test. Okay, so this is about this. We are going to send these 3 astronauts to low Earth orbit. They are at around 400 kilometers from surface of our Earth, and they'll stay in the space for 3 days, and after that they will come back to our Earth surface. And if you see about this mission phases, it includes unmanned test missions, and even we are going to send mans, that is nothing but astronauts, into the space. And this mission is going to be launched by 2027, but we don't know exactly that if there are any delays, that date will be postponed. But as of now, we are thinking that we are going to launch this mission by 2027. And what is significance of this mission? So till today, only 3 countries they went for this human space flight. Those are US, Russia, and China. If India successfully send these astronauts into this space by this Gaganyaan mission, India will be joining into that elite group of countries which send humans into space. India will become the 4th country to send human space flight mission. So if this mission is successful, it will be helpful for space tourism, and we can attract more investments in the space sector. It will be helpful for Atmanirbhar Bharat in this defense sector for our country, guys. So all these are the advantages of this mission for India. Okay, see this article. Title says Supreme Court judge. Imported ideas may not save endangered species. Okay, so what are the keywords here? First one is endangered species. Second keyword is imported ideas. Okay, have you heard about imports and exports? Okay, let me write here. First one is imported ideas. It is talking about endangered species. So these are the 2 keywords which are there here. So now Supreme Court said that imported ideas will not be useful to save this endangered species. So that is a statement which is given by Supreme Court now, yes or no? Supreme Court said that imported ideas will not save our endangered species. So first let us see what are those endangered species. Tell me guys. So where you have studied about this endangered, vulnerable, critically endangered, near threatened, extinct species, where exactly? So in your environment and ecology subject, which comes under GS paper 3, we have sites. Yes or no, we have sites. And these sites will do research and it will study both flora. Flora is nothing but plants, and fauna. Fauna is nothing but animals, and it will be giving this category. They will keep under red list. In this red list, we have different categories: near threatened, extinct and wild, extinct, endangered, critically endangered, vulnerable. So here we have to focus on 3 categories, guys. What are those categories? Vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered. If animals or plants which are placed in these 3 categories, we have to take steps to conserve them. So vulnerable is nothing but their population is decreasing by 50%. If their population is decreasing by 50%, that animal or that plant will be placed under this vulnerable. Endangered means around 70 to 80% decrease of around 70 percentage of decreased number of that animals or plants, they will placed under endangered. About 90 percentage of decreasing of population means they will be placed under critically endangered. So if animals or plants are placed in these categories, now our government will be taking certain special steps. They are called as conservation methods. We'll focus on this conservation of that animals or plants. In this conservation, again, we have 2 types of conservations. What are they? In situ conservation and ex situ conservation. So what is meaning of in situ? That animal or that plant is present in so and so area. In that area only, whenever we are taking certain steps to protect that animal, then that kind of steps are called as in situ. Then what is ex situ? We are going to take that animal from that place and we are shifting that animal or plant to another place, and we are now maintaining the controlled environment, and now we start conserving them. We start taking some protection for that so and so animal or plant. That kind of steps are called as ex situ. For example, we have national parks, we have Here we have biosphere reserves, we have tiger reserves. So those are the place where that animal lives. But here we have national parks, we have botanical labs, we have seed banks. So like that, we are using certain external environment to save them. They comes under XC2. So now what is happening in India is the number of certain plants and animals are decreasing drastically. Here if you see this image, what is this bird? Have you seen that bird? What is the name of that bird? The name of that bird is Great Indian Bustard. Okay, I'll tell you the story. So the name of that bird is Great Indian Bustard, GIB, which is present across India-Pakistan border. Normally seen in Rajasthan, even in Gujarat region. Okay, so what is happening here is the number of these birds are drastically decreasing, and now they are in this critically endangered list. So we have only hundreds of birds now. So why? Because in Rajasthan we are going for electric lanes, especially solar power lanes, and we are having this power lines. So these are the largest birds. The weight of these birds is more than 3 kgs, and they are largest flying birds. And whenever they fly, they'll come in contact with this current wires. Then what happens? That will cause electric shock, and that is causing the death of these animals. So drastically there is decrease in number of this GIB, that is Great Indian Bustard. And I'll give you one more example. Have you heard about this red sanders? Have you seen this movie Pushpa? Okay, so in that movie Pushpa, they'll go for illegal logging of this red sanders. So especially in which area we can see this red sanders? Andhra Pradesh, in which forest area? Seshachalam? Nallamalla? Okay, so in especially in AP, we have rich uranium reserves in that area that is contributing for this growth of red sanders in this AP region. So what is happening here is illegal logging of this red sanders are happening. Because of this, the population of this red sanders trees are also declining. Okay, so these are the two examples that are given in this article. GIB, that is Great Indian Bustard population is decreasing and red sanders population is increasing, and now they are placed in this endangered and critically endangered category. Okay, so you have understood about what is endangered, right? So far I discussed about this endangered part. Now let us come to this imported ideas. So imported means what? Imported means imported. What is meaning of import? Okay, we are getting from other countries, then they are called as imports. So this article is talking about what? Imported ideas. What are the imported ideas? So actually you know that now we are having what? COP30, Conference of Parties 30 we are going to have, right? So in that kind of conferences, will India only present its idea? No. Different countries will present their ideas based on their level of technology, based on their level of problems. Every country is not having the similar problem, right? So India is having some problems and other countries are having some other problems. Because of that, what happens whenever the meetings are happening at this kind of international conventions or groupings, almost all countries will be proposing their own ideas. What we are doing is, rather than coming up with our own ideas, we are taking other countries' ideas and we are imposing in our country, guys. So those kind of ideas are called as imported ideas. Now Supreme Court said that no, please don't use this imported ideas. Use our indigenous ideas to save our endangered species. Because local people, especially tribal people and local communities, they know about this animals, this plants, this trees. So if you are imposing other countries' laws, ideas, is that possible to focus on this endangered species? No, that is the thing mainly said. So what are those imported ideas? They gave an example of polluter pay. Have you heard about this polluter pay? That means who are polluting the environment, they have to pay for that. That is one imported idea. It is not our Indian idea. So if you are focusing on that, if you are imposing on that, can we save this endangered species? Rather than that, we have to focus on our indigenous ideas. What are our indigenous ideas? We have to give more priority for this local communities, and we have to protect the rights of this local communities so that we can save the species. That is about this idea of this article, guys. They gave certain list of what are these important ideas, and they gave list of what are the indigenous ideas that we have to use for conservation. And this article is very important regarding your environment and ecology, and you may get directly means question based on this, because Supreme Court is directly intervening in this important ideas, and we are going to have this COP30 soon. Okay, so this is very, very important. Have you understood what is this idea of this article? Okay, now let us see here. Supreme Court judge delivered a keynote address at Environment Adjudication and Development Conference. So in one conference, our Supreme Court judge, he made this statement. He said that imported ideas like intergenerational equity are anthropocentric and may not protect endangered species. So whenever we are getting ideas from other countries which are important ideas, they will be focusing on humans. They will be not focusing on environment. If we are not focusing on environment, we cannot improve the status of this endangered species category. We cannot protect those animals and plants which are of concern. So what is this intergenerational equity? Please make a note here. So you may get question. Intergenerational equity is recently seen in news. Which of the following options exactly suits it? So like that, they'll give you simply ABCD options, and you have to identify which is correct. So intergenerational equity is nothing but it is a principle that present generations should not compromise the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, particularly concerning resources and opportunities. That means nothing but intergeneration means nothing but our generation, our next generation, their next generation, they need to have equal access to the resources. No one should compromise in any generation. That is called as intergenerational equity. Okay? Example for what? For resource and for opportunities. Every generation should have equal opportunities. There should not be any compromise on any generation. This is called as intergenerational equity, guys. So here he said one important example of important idea, that is intergenerational equity. So are we focusing on environment here? No, we are focusing on access. We are focusing on access to resources and as well as access to opportunities for humans here. Nowhere we are talking about endangered species or protection of environment, protection of animals, everything. Okay. And next important thing, he said that in our constitution we have certain articles. Yes or no? In our constitution we have fundamental rights, we have DPSPs, we have fundamental duties. Especially article 51AG talks about environment protection. So we have to always take this into an account before taking any steps. And next he said that India's biodiversity is in crisis because of climate change, because of development, because of dams construction, infrastructure development, whatever it may be. There are 1300 endangered species of plants and animals. So here if you are focusing on important ideas, this endangered species will become extinct in wild. That is the thing which mainly said here. That means if you want to protect our biodiversity, we have to focus on our indigenous ideas rather than imported ideas. And he also said that we have article 48A, which is under DPSP, which is focusing on ecocentrism, always whenever we are taking any steps. So DPSP are nothing but data principles of state policies which direct the government in making of policies, everything, right? So here we have to always take this article 48A into consideration before making of policies. And he also said about next one more principle, that is imported ideas that is pollute or pay. That means who is polluting the environment, they have to pay. So again it is based on humans, not based on animals. And this one is precautionary principle also. Precautionary principles also. So because of this we are criticizing human health and as well as economic cost, guys. And he said that rather than these important principles like intergenerational equity, polluter pay, and precautionary principle, we have to focus on India's principle. Please make a note. That is Prithvi Sukta. So we have to focus on Prithvi. Prithvi means nothing but earth. We have to save earth. This program is called as Prithvi Sukna, and we have to focus on tribal ecological knowledge instead of foreign frameworks, guys. Okay, so these are the some important things which mainly said in this article, and it's very, very important. And now you guys tell me what is the impact of this kind of statements which is made directly by Supreme Court judge. Do we have any impact of this kind of statements? Online guys, tell me in the comment box. So what will be the impact now? Awareness of the people increase or not? Okay, increasing the awareness. Next. What will be the impact of this kind of statements, Datta? Okay, first one here is this statement strengthens ecocentric precedents. For example, recently we know about Vantara issue. Do you know this Vantara issue? Vantara, Ambani's son project, private conservation project of Ambani. Recently, sites showed concern regarding these imports. He imported tigers, he imported elephants, and endangered animals from other countries, and he is focusing on conservation. Actually, sites said that this kind of conservation process can have the impact in the future. Like they can also use for genetic engineering that animals. They can also use for breeding centers, and they can also use for uh, corporate business in the future. Like that, it showed lots of concerns. Don't you know about Vantara? Ambani's son, Radhika's husband, Anant Ambani's project it is. Actually, there is one video also. Even Prime Minister Modi went to that Vantara. So you can see that video in YouTube. It is available. Yeah. And next one is now courts may also mandate IUCN aligned species to recovery plans. So we can focus on more policies, more plans regarding this IUCN red list data. And this one is it can also pressurize our lawmakers to amend this Wildlife Protection Act, and as well as we can also come up with a dedicated Endangered Species Act so that we can take certain steps for protection of these endangered animals. And next one is we can improve our conservation efforts. We can boost survival rates of these animals now, and we can also control the imports, and we can halt risky translocation of animals as well. And now tribal communities will be getting more rights for conservation process, and as well as we can use certain green technologies like avian safe turbines, so that we can also attract investments in this making of avian safe turbines. And even India's position itself as a global south leader, that position can be improved. Okay, so we can also improve citizen engagement in this conservation process as well. So these are the impacts of this move of Supreme Court judge, guys, and it's very, very important topic for the day. Yeah, see this article, guys. Delhi air quality hits season's worst, triggers construction ban, hybrid mode back in schools. What is this article talking about? Delhi air quality. So what is this article is exactly saying? Now we have very poor air quality in Delhi. Now you guys tell me what are the reasons for this bad air quality of Delhi? First one is stubble burning in where? Punjab, Haryana and Western UP region. Next one is winter season. Next, vehicular emissions, construction sites pollution. Next, industrial pollution. So these are the major reasons for this Delhi air quality. Okay, so recently government came up with graded response action plan. What is graded response action plan? I already gave you the main question on this. Tell me, guys. What is graded response action plan? So how many stages we have? 4 stages. What are they? 1, 2, 3, 4. What we'll do in the stage 1? Okay, so this graded response action plan, it is an emergency framework. So this framework is designed to control and reduce air pollution in this national capital region. It was mainly formulated after one important case, that is MC Mehta versus Union of India 2016. Please make a note. So you may get directly the question regarding air pollution there whenever you're writing your introduction, you can use this case as a value addition case. MC Mehta versus Union of India case 2016 led to the formation of graded response action plan in Delhi region. And after that, in 2017, we came up with this GRAP notification. And who will implement this? It is very important from your prelims. That is Commission for Air Quality Management, CAQM, in coordination with Ministry of Forest Climate Change, will be implementing this. And we have 4 stages based on the quality of air. So first stage is implemented when air quality is 201 to 300. So they will take only basic control measures like road dust management, enforcing of vehicle pollution under control norms, etc. And in stage 2, whenever the air quality is very poor from 301 to 400, they will take certain strict actions like limiting of diesel generator use and controlling operations in pollution hotspots. And in this stage 3, whenever the air quality is very severe from 401 to 450, they impose restrictions on vehicles, construction activities, and allows for remote schooling. That means they implemented which stage there? Stage 3 now in this Delhi region. That means what is the air quality? 401 to 450 now. So if it crosses, then we'll enter into this stage 4, which is a very severe category, severe plus, where air quality is more than 450. There we are going to enforce ban on entry of heavy vehicles, complete closure of schools, and shutdown of non-essential industries. Okay, now we are in this third stage. Hybrid mode is nothing but online plus offline mode of schools in Delhi now. Okay, see this article, guys. Act of evil. Act of evil. And if entire today's newspaper is occupied by these articles regarding blast, regarding investigations, and even in Islamabad also there is one more car blast happened. So we don't know whether we have any link with India's blast and Pakistan blast or not. We have to wait for the reports. And recently even uh, we got lots of materials, 200, more than 200 kgs of materials which are mainly used for the making of this bomb blast. And one thing they said today in today's articles clearly is like they used very severe, very high explosives for this making of this bomb. But we don't know exactly who did this, and we have to wait. And we don't know like whether the government is going to release this. Actually, recently I came to know one information. This information shocked me. Recently, I think 10 days ago, there was a meeting of terrorists across the countries happened in Jammu and Kashmir. So because of this, already government is suspecting that some kind of bomb blast can happen in our country. So this is one incident which happened, and actually government wants to catch almost all the networks together. So because of this, I think it is not government is not releasing entire data regarding this bomb blast. So we have to wait and see what will be going to happen in the next 1 week in our country. Okay, be careful, guys, whenever you're going outside, especially metropolitan cities are under high alert. Hyderabad also. That's what. Okay, so this article is saying that act of evil. So this article is saying that we have to promote social harmony. It is very, very important to any counter-terrorism strategy. So as you all know that we are suspecting that this is one terror attack, but completely the details had not yet been published anywhere. So if it is not published means I should not say that this is terror attack and I should not create panic in you guys. So here this article is saying that yes, we have to condemn this Delhi blast. And you're saying that this is an act of evil. Especially in the peak hours, this kind of accident happened. Especially after the 6:30 p.m. So normally evening times only people will be coming outside, and closure of schools happens during that 4:35 that time, and even closure of colleges will happen at that time. And women especially will come outside for their shopping everything during that time. That means morning times will be the peak hours. Morning 8 to 8:30, and evening 5 to 8 will be like peak hours. During this peak hours, whenever this kind of blast happens, means what happens? That will creates huge loss of life and as well as huge loss of property. So as of now, around 13 only, right? How many people died in this? 10 or 13? It is 13, I guess. Okay, 13, more than 13 people died, and even many people are injured badly. And we have to see how many people will die in that, even injured people also. Okay, so this article is saying that because of this kind of acts, which mainly creates social chaos, and as well as people will question about what government is doing. It will be questioning about the government stand. So because of this article is saying that we have to improve social harmony in the people. Whenever people are coming together and whenever they are uniting, and then only we can fight against this kind of terrorism in our country. That's the thing which mainly said here. In our country, we have counter-terrorism measures, and these counter-terrorism measures are multi-layered strategy. So here we have legal, that means acts we have, and even we have institutions, and even we are going to use technology, and as well as we have diplomatic dimensions. All these will be taken care by the Ministry of Home Affairs in our country, guys. So if you see the legal framework, please make a note. We have UAPA, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of 1967. This act will empower the government to ban organizations and to designate terrorists and to seize assets without prior any judicial oversight. Very important act which will give powers to the government regarding counterterrorism is UAPA. And next one is we have National Investigation Agency Act. We came up in year 2008. Okay, we are focusing on especially investigation of cases under this act. And next one is we have United Nations Security Council resolutions also. This United Nations Security Council resolution will freeze the assets of this terror organizations, terrorists, and even they will be banning the travels also. And apart from that, in India, we have certain institutions. The first one is the Counter-Terrorism and Counter-Radicalization Division. And we have NIA, you know about this NIA. So if you have seen that movie, Advishesh movie, in that you can see about this NIA, Mumbai terror attacks. Major. In that movie, you can see about what is this NIA, how they will do operations, everything. And next one is we have multi-agency center and national intelligence grid also. So here, these are the certain institutions which are present in our country, which are focusing on countering of terrorism. Okay. Yeah. So see this article, next article. Fishing troubles. India must persuade its fishermen to stop or to give up bottom trawling. So this article is very important. Do you know what is bottom trawling is about? Have you heard about this bottom trawling? Have you heard, guys? No? Okay, I'll show you one image. Can you see this image? So there is one ship which is moving, and this is a seabed, floor of the sea or floor of the ocean. So they will use heavy nets so that they will go to the bottom of the floor, and from that bottom of the floor they will bring almost all fishes. Okay, then what happens is this a sustainable practice. So what happens here is in this kind of fishing, what are the small seedlings? Seedlings is nothing but small fishes. Even they are less than 1 inch size will be also brought to the shore. Then what happens? Fishes will die. So because of this, what happens? The biodiversity, marine biodiversity will be getting affected. The biodiversity will be getting disturbed. So because of this, what happens in future? Can we see the enough fishes in the ocean? No. Because of this, what happens? It will be having impact on entire livelihood of this people, and entire food chain, food webs of this aquatic system will be getting affected. If there is no small fish, can big fish survive? If there is no big fish, very big size fishes. So everything is interconnected and interdependent on one another. So entire that marine biodiversity or aquatic biodiversity will be getting affected because of this bottom trawling. So you can see this image clearly. Okay, see here. So you can see how much fishes you are bringing up to the top by using this bottom trawling. Okay, so here you have to say about what is bottom trawling, and what are the environmental impacts. And now you have to think about what is the way forward, guys. Here you can get a case study. You are district collector of coastal area, and in your area people are following this bottom trawling mechanism, and you got orders from the higher authorities and the central government to stop this bottom trawling in your area. How can you change the mindset or attitude of the people? What are the choices you have? What is your course of action? So in this way you will be getting case studies case. Normally you will be getting 5 to 6 case studies in your ethics paper, and almost all will be from your current affairs only, guys. So you have to be very much careful regarding this case studies. If you are good at current affairs, you can manage them, or else you can't. Okay, now let us see this article. So what is bottom trawling? Bottom trawling is a method of fishing that involves dragging heavy weighted nets across the sea floor. And they want to capture the target species like ground fish or crabs. Normally, you know this crabs, no? Crabs is having very high economical value. The cost of this crabs will be very high in the fish markets. I don't know whether you know this or not. So to catch that kind of ground-based fishes and crabs, they'll use this deep trawling methods. It is favored method which is mainly used by commercial fishing companies because they can catch large quantities of this produce or fishes in a single go. So they will be used by commercial fishing companies. What are the ecological impacts? First one is it will lead to the destruction of that habitat. And next what happens? Obviously that will lead to the biodiversity loss. And that will change its ecosystem in that sea floor. And next one here is if you are removing even small seedlings, can recovery happens within days? It will take lot of time, even years. So this process will lead to slow recovery of biodiversity in this region. And next one here is it also leads to decreased carbon sequestration as well because it will disturb sediments. It will release whatever the stored carbon which is there at the seabed will be released again back into atmosphere. That will lead to increased carbon dioxide pollution or carbon dioxide emissions into atmosphere because of this deep sea trawling as well. Okay, now let us see the next article. Look at the title. Why do astronauts wear pressurized suits? Why do astronauts wear pressurized suits? Now you guys tell me. So if you have seen this astronauts, have you seen this movie Operation Antariksham? Yeah. In that movie, these astronauts will be wearing suits. Why they have to wear the suits? What is the reason? Atmospheric pressure. Okay. So the main reason behind this wearing of this pressurized suits is atmospheric pressure. If you take this is Earth surface, this is Earth, this is Earth surface. So we have gravitational force. What is this gravitational force? If you throw anything up, where it will fall? It will fall down. Why? Why? Because due to gravity. Why there is gravity? If you see the different layers of Earth, we have crust, we have mantle, we have core. Crust is made up of Cl, that is nothing but silicon and aluminium. Mantle is made up of Cia, that is nothing but silicon and manganese. Core is made up of Nife, that is nickel and iron. This nickel and iron are heavy metals. They are concentrated in this core area. That is the one important reason why Earth is having this gravity, or it will be showing this gravitational force. With that force, it will attract the things. So because of this gravitational force, what happens here? Whatever the air which is present around the air, so we have more density of air at the lower levels. At the lower levels, at the near of this Earth surface, we have more density of air. And if you are going away from this Earth surface, the density of air will be decreasing. So here, if you are going to this low Earth orbit, the density will be in negative sometimes. So because of this, what happens? Can we withstand that lowest pressure? So even if you are climbing To Mount Everest also we have to wear jackets and we have to carry our oxygen cylinders. Why? Because the uh, pressure of the air will be decreased and the density of air will be decreases, right? Okay, so what happens if you stay in this very low pressures? Your blood vessels will break and you will be getting bleeding from your nose and as well as bleeding from your ears, etc. So actually here astronauts, they will be going to the space where there is zero gravity and even the density of air is very less. To withstand in that situations, they need to wear this pressurized belts suits. So here if you see this gist, it mainly says that atmosphere is a thick layer of gases which is held around the earth because of its gravity. It protects us from our harmful solar radiation and even it keeps temperature stable and will provide gases to respirate. What happens here is whenever these astronauts they are moving away from the earth's surface, silence please, whenever these astronauts are moving away from the earth's surface, whenever they are going to the space, what happens is the pressure, atmospheric pressure is decreases. So this pressure suits, it is a specialized garment which is designed to protect against extremely low pressure, especially in this high altitudes or space. And now we are going to send astronauts into space. What is that mission? Mission Gaganyaan. So in that mission, we are going to design this pressurized suits, especially for them to protect their lives and to withstand even in these harsh conditions. So that is about this. And actually, please make a note here. Humans that you are going to send to space under this Gaganyaan mission are called as Gaganyatris, and they will use pressurized suits. They are called as Russian Sokol KV-2 suits. So they are going to get this Russian Sokol, SOKOL, Sokol KV-2 suits. So you may get a question. Recently, Russian Sokol KV-2 is seen in news. What are they? They may give helmets, they may give suits, they may give like aircraft or spacecraft or a drone or a robot. So Russian Sukhoi KV-2 is pressurized suits. They are going to be used by this Gaganyatris in this Gaganyaan mission. And who is manufacturing this? Zvezda. It is a company of Russia which is manufacturing it. Okay. So see this guys. So these are the important topics that appear in our today's Hindi newspaper. By some concluding. So before concluding, I want to make an announcement. So we in our academy, we are going to launch new anthropology batch from November 25th, guys. If you are interested to join that course, you can register. The registration link is given in the description box. Don't forget. And if you really like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And do subscribe to our Rathod Science Academy channel. And we have other channel also, Telugu channel. So if you're from Telugu states, you can also subscribe to that channel where we are providing current affairs in shorts. And not only that, guys, we are also providing prelims question, mains question with model answer, and also current affairs in short in our Instagram page as well. Do follow us on our Instagram page. Link is given in description box. Thank you.